morning, and how is everybody this fine winter Sunday? I wanted to jump on because obviously I have got a bit of time right now to talk about, yes, you got it, the fascia and letting go, and why the longer I live, much as I've been teaching letting go for a long time now, more and more realizing the importance, the incredible importance of keeping on. It's a bit like brushing your teeth. You don't just let go once and that's you forever. You have to maintain the practice, because it's a bit like my friend Natalie doing the decluttering. The cluttering continues. If you keep bringing more stuff in, which we do, then we get more rubbish in. And that's what we're doing in our minds. And obviously, if you've been watching me and following me, let me know if you're there. Say hi. You'll know that I've become absolutely obsessed with the fascia. It is unbelievably fascinating, but also how the fascia responds to observation and listening, which I think is really possibly the key part. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this shared so that we can, everybody gets a chance to see it. So the fascia is this, for those who don't know, it's a crystalline plasma that runs all through the body, and arguably is what keeps the body together, holds the body together. It is quite fascinating, and the information in the fascia passes 6 times faster than the vagus nerve. And we've been banging on about the vagus nerve, as I'm sure you're aware, for a long time, and the importance of it. Gary Young's coming to Skye to do his mindfulness retreat, which is hugely powerful. And people are really starting to understand it doesn't matter what you eat or drink or think. If you're stuck in first gear, i.e. stuck in fight or flight, running in adrenaline and cortisol, you have to get out of that state. And that can be a lot harder than you think, because when it's such a habit, the hormones of stress are so addictive, and that talk and think and believe in everything you're thinking, everything you're seeing, everything you're feeling. Imagine what the fascia's holding and communicating, and how the flow of information is going when you cannot switch your mind off. And people have come to me after our breath work saying that's the first time that they can remember that they have been still, and that their mind hasn't been the monkey mind, as we call it. And there's lots of different ways to breathe, and that's what we have to work out, what is for you. Some people are so scared of their own bodies. As soon as they start to breathe, they hyperventilate and they get even worse. And when you can let go of the fear, when you can breathe through the fear, when you can understand that all fear is energy, it's a feeling that you can completely believe or not believe, which is, I'm not saying that's easy, because I know it's not for some people, especially if you've got extreme trauma. But ultimately it comes down to courage. How much are you willing to override the program, to breathe through the feelings, to face your fears, which are illusional in nature? And what does that mean in terms of healing? Well, you're trying to heal yourself when you're in a constant state of fear, judgment, blaming, shaming, and complaining. It just doesn't work. And why? Because when the hormones of stress flood into the body, the frontal cortex closes down the blood get displaced to your hands and your feet, your legs, in order to allow you to run as fast as you can. This is not a state for solving life's problems. So to come out of that state, to change the frequencies of the brain, because there's states for everything that we're trying to do as a human. But the big problem now is we're so fixated with the external world, what we think, all the information that we're bringing in through our ears, through our eyes, through our skin, that we've not got a clue what's going on. And that's just simply the way it is. You cannot see the wood for the trees when the mind is like, this, trying to figure it all out, wishing it was different, blaming things that are out there. And every time we do that, we create contraction at a cellular level. We create a change in the pH. We shut down the ability to digest food. We lower our own IQ. And literally, we are doing the complete opposite of what we need to do in order to work out how we're going to get out of a predicament. Now, that predicament can be your health. Lots of people facing that. That predicament can be your wealth. A lot of people facing that. And that predicament can be your relationships. But regardless of what the predicament that you currently feel that you're facing, because it's all about feelings, what you feel you're facing that predicament, if you're in fight or flight, you're just going to see more problems everywhere you look, because contraction is problem, 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 problem. Expansion is potential solutions. And we all want to be looking on the solutions. What are the solutions for my body, for my family, for my community? And when your fascia, when you can listen in and feel the body, what's the body saying to you? And the body speaks to us in sights, sounds and sensations. And we're all different and we're all picking up information differently. So at Heal Scotland, what we want to do is to really inspire you to listen in and to help you decide what information you're getting from your body, nobody else. When you let go of everybody's points of view, including mine, when you let go of all the past hurts and beliefs, and when you decide to move out of the blame, shame, complain state, when you start to listen to the fascia, you listen, you observe what's happening in there. And this is where letting go is invaluable. This is where Qigong, Tai Chi, this is why they're so powerful, because in the West, and I include myself in this, it's all about lift weights, run, resist, because the anti-gravitational impact you can have is strengthening muscles, elongating muscles, and high impact aerobics, which I loved and still love, jumping about to loud music. I'm not going to feel guilty for that. I still enjoy that. I love dancing. I love moving. But what if I'm doing that from a place of I need to do this in order to get something? That is causing stress in my body rather than I'm doing it because I love it. So the way that we approach what we're doing impacts the fascia. And because the fascia is holding all this outdated information, we have to, I think the big thing is we all need to remember is that the body can heal itself, even from extreme trauma. It's an innate healing capacity, but a lot of the trauma healing comes from being in a meditative, mindful state. Because if you're never in there, how can the body get the time to sort out the mess that we've been creating with the mind? It's a bit like putting your bin out all the days that the bin lorry doesn't come. It's not going to go anywhere. We need the bin lorry to come to take the rubbish away. So we need to be in that mindful Zen state with the brain in the right frequencies, the cells in the neutral state, the pH, the communication, hydrated in the right pH, so that the information can flow through the body, so that we can let go with ease. And this is really the state. Sorry, switch this phone off, it's vibrating away here. This is the state, and I'm excited to bring a lot of this stuff into Sky, because I've been learning so much about the fascia, about sound, and obviously the energy medicine. We're bringing the technology from the hub and the information, not all of it, to Sky, so you're going to be able to get a taster session of the new frontier of medicine, which I truly believe is visible now. I was down at Tarbert Holiday Park at Malky's place a couple of days last week. I'm just blown away by what's been created there. And that, to me, is the hospital of the future, where you can access the trees, the sea, the river, the equipment if you need to, if you want to, the far infrared sauna, beautiful far infrared sauna they have there. We have them at the hub too, and I'm sure there's lots of beautiful ones all around the country. We need them all over the place, where people can access the technology, the biotherapies, and the people that can help guide them, help them tune into their own innate intelligence, and give them hope around what the body is doing, because we have literally been trained to be terrified of the body. You'll go, if there's a lump, a bump, a rash, or whatever, and you're going to get a scan, you're terrified, waiting on results. What's going to happen? What's my body doing? You're living in there. We are living in this thing. And it's incredible. It's so incredible. And we're living in fear now. So many of us living in fear. And I did that for a long, long time, and I refuse to do it again, because it doesn't feel good. And again, it's work either because we're in a projection of what's coming. There may be valid reasons for being a bit concerned about what our goon governments are doing, or we're in the past, all the things that we did in the past that we regret, or what people did to us, we perceive things. That's when we take ourselves out of the present moment and out of the state. And the fascia, which has already gathered at my age, 65 years of carnage, a lot of it. So getting to the age of the crone, post-menopausal age, where you can calm down, and you don't really have to do anything very much apart from give back if you want to. You've seen a lot of life. You understand that life is not easy sometimes, and you just need to take it easy and, guide yourself, surf your way through it as much as possible, with as much detachment as possible. So think about the fascia. I mean, we used to think that the calcite crystals that are in the pineal gland, well, I used to, maybe you guys, some of you I know are way more educated than me, but I thought the only crystals in the body were in the brain, in the pineal gland. And that pineal gland, with crystals, there's what we call a piezoelectric energy that comes from it. So anything that hits the crystal will create more energy. And so we literally become like that radio station, like the phones. We have they're transmitting and receiving signals all day. Well, that's what's happening inside our brain. But the plasma, crystalline plasma, I mean, we're only starting to, because we don't believe anything until we can see it, measure it by science, which means, of course, it was always true anyway. It's just that we didn't know it was true. But now we're like, oh yeah, now science has said it. That we know that we can pick up people's feelings. We intuitively know things. Most of us are well aware of that, but we've just never understood the apparatus that is picking up that information. The pineal gland, of course, is the gateway to these different dimensions, but we're learning every day more and more and more. And I think to expect all our doctors, health professionals, etc., even our holistic healers to know everything, it's just not possible with the rate of information that we're getting these days. It's absolutely unbelievable that on a daily basis we're learning more and more and more about the incredible intelligence within. And what can take us away from that intelligence, of course, is fear. And our current model fills you with fear. I mean, look what they did in COVID. They terrified everybody because what's our biggest fear? Death. Nobody wants to die, right? Well, some do, but most of us don't want to die, and we don't want to get a diagnosis. And all the language around what your body is doing is quite simply out of date, quite embarrassingly out of date. It's aggressive, incurable, terminal, stage 104. All of that language instills fear into the most of us. Some people can rise above it, but most of us are going to be scared by that language, which automatically puts you into a non-healing state. And that's what we're going to be doing up at the Health Hub. We're creating a place of hope and of a language that serves the body, and a place where you can come and learn how to move completely out of fear and into a state of awe around your body, a deep understanding around the fascia, where all the information is flowing through the body, and how we can communicate with different dimensions. Don't even call it a dimension, that language can put people off. Different data streams of information, depending on what frequency our brain's in, what state of expansion we're in, how brave we are, how much courage we have to open our heart, because your heart plays a huge part in this, as does your DNA, as does your fascia, as you turn into this literal bolt of lightning that can send out light and information, because it is biophotons. It's light and it's sound. At its essence, the body is light and information. And, you know, that was news to me. It might be news to some of you. I don't know. You probably wouldn't listen to me if you're not aware of the energetic side of the body. It's just remarkable that it's waves, and we can use different waves to change the information in the body without heavy toxic treatments. Sometimes you may need them, not because you do, but because you believe you do, or you're too scared to do without it. But we can mix and match and use the new information that we have that you're not going to get taught in a school. You have to, it's self-directed learning. And it was good to hear Josh Axe saying that. Why would you even say what courses you've done now? Because they're out of date, even if you finished them yesterday. The information's coming out at such a rate of knots, it's up to us to stay on top of it. And that's what we do in our community. We're bringing in the latest. I'm bringing in the latest and greatest information, exciting, inspiring, and hopeful. Not the old, like, oh, well, that's incurable. I'd met Dr. Brian Clements from the Hippocrates Institute 20 years ago. And he went on stage and he said, there is no disease that has a name that he has not seen healed. But if you're not a self-directed learner, you'll not know that. How would you possibly know that? You'll still be listening to people from the medical model who don't know or don't believe that you can heal yourself. And that's up to you. You can believe that if you want. But no way. No way. It's not over till the fat lady sings. We all have the potential. And let's talk about faith and fascia. So if you imagine this is a cell, right? And the semi-permeable bilayer of the cell is your essential fats. And the essential fats are like olive oil in texture. So not as thin as water, but doesn't set at room temperature. So that fat, if it's buoyant and hydrated, allows information in and out. Now we know that far infrared goes right through the body and out the other side. If you're buoyant, hydrated, and in a state of awe and ecstasy. But if you're dehydrated, negative, scared, anxious, apathetic, the information can't flow the same way through the body. It's all about flow. Now, we can talk about the physical side, which of course matters, what you're eating, what you're drinking, but what are you thinking, what are you feeling? What do you believe? What do you believe about your body? What do you believe? Do you believe in a higher power? Are you a complete atheist? Do you believe you are? We cannot separate these things out because your body is responding to everything you think, feel, believe, perceive, and do. And perception is perhaps the most powerful one of all, because if you perceive that you're separate, that you're cut off, that nobody loves you, nobody cares, and there are some people who feel that because that's the evidence that they're getting. But then you see somebody who's in deep faith with whoever, whatever, they're imperturbable, and perhaps your faith really is the thing that's going to help you to heal. Because when information comes towards you, because here's how it works. You ask a question, what would it take for me to be healed from a stage 4 allegedly terminal dis-ease? And you're going to get an answer to that. Now, you might not believe that. So if you don't believe it, information will come your way, which you will ignore. But if you do believe it, you will look at the information and you'll be like, wow, here's a sign. Here's what I have to do. And you'll go into that in a different state. The fascia will be relaxed because you trust the information. You trust in the higher power. You trust in the body, that when you change your attitude, when you change your state, that you will heal. And, this is why when people take plant medicine, psilocybin, the studies have shown that when you let go of your fear of death, you often heal. How ironic is that? And the two things that most people are scared of and fighting is time and death. So if you're linear time, which is a construct of the conscious mind, that we go this way, and when you start to expand out, and this is Joe Dispenza's work, to realise that time is non-linear and that we can draw things in. We are space in time, or time in space, which is what we used to think. We're like, right, we can go to these times. This may sound like a lot of waffle to you because it took me a wee while to get my head around it. That's why we can do things like matrix re-imprinting. We can literally go to a time and we can change the information that gets sent through the body. But I digress. Let's keep it on the fear of the body. So if you have been given a prognosis, Deepak Chopra says, take the diagnosis, never take the prognosis. And I'll tell you why the diagnosis can be helpful, because some of us need to take action. We need to change things in order to be well. And it's very easy to ignore it. We all do it, let's face it, and I absolutely include myself in this, until we're like, right, okay, now I have to change. And in terms of preventing dis-ease, what you really want to do is make sure that you stay well. So when the body comes knocking, there's a wee rash, a wee bit of fatigue, a wee bit of bloating, you sort it out then. You don't wait years and years and years until you get a diagnosis. Nothing happens overnight. There's a straw eventually that breaks the camel's back, and there's a lot of people, the straw has come, and it's been the COVID infection or the COVID vaccine. And then, or it can be a death, it can be a trauma, grief is very, very acidic in the body. So it's not one thing, it's a combination of things. So healing's the same. But if we can get into a place of faith, this is really my mission around Heal Scotland, that you're not scared of your body and you're not scared of the hospital and the appointments, etc. Because I've walked that path with so many people. It's not fun. So how do we get to a place of faith? Faith in the body, faith in an innate intelligence for healing. Where is it? Oh, you can heal that, but you definitely can't heal that. Oh, well, maybe you can get a few more years, but you're definitely not going to live much longer. How did that all come about? Because what we did was we took pictures of the body, a snapshot in time, and then we go, there's a prediction that comes from that photograph, that snapshot in time. Now, when you bring the fascia, this living, breathing, crystalline plasma into this, and you start observing what this can do. And again, go back to Joe Dispenza's work with the source and what they've seen in fMRIs. We predict our future. And what are we predicting it on? Based on what? Information usually given to us by somebody else. And this is why people who choose to let go of other people's points of view are more successful. People move away and they think, I'm not going to be limited by the tribe. I'm not going to be Jonathan Livingston Seagull. I'm not going to be limited by other birds in my flock. I'm going to actually tune into my heart and really tune into why I came here. That's what I believe. I think we all came here for different reasons. Certainly not to be a slave to the government. But anyway, I digress again. So let's look at how can we be in awe of our body rather than in terror of it? How can we let go of that elephant diagnosis in the room prognosis? How do we do that? How do we put the information through the fascia, through every cell, every microtubule, every nerve ending, through the DNA, to set out information into the field to attract something very different back to us? How do we do that? Well, for a start, here's the conclusions I've come to. We do it together, because I know I can help people feel hope. I know that. I do it every day pretty much. But what happens when they go back into their old way? Love tuner. You've got to get a love tuner. What happens when you get out of state? And what happens is somebody gets a horrible diagnosis. They come to me. I help them let go of the fear. They go back in and out. Fear, no fear, fear, no fear, a little bit of fear. It's just like, so changing state. How do we stay? And we all do it, whether we've got a terminal or incurable label. It doesn't matter. We all have good days and bad days. And days where we feel, I can climb this mountain. Days where you think, I'm not sure. I don't know if I can. Regardless of a prognosis, we all have good and bad days, and there can be millions of reasons for that. So how do we, in our challenge, obviously when we're in these deep, contracted, fear-filled states, we look out at the apparent others, at the illusion of separation, and we look to blame somebody, because that's what you do when you're in that separated state. How can you, when you're down here, feeling terrible and scared and tired and in pain, how can you look at somebody who's up there in courage, unconditional love? I mean, it's just two different places. It's like somebody being in the basement and somebody being in the sky, the skylight, seeing all the beautiful views. How do you get in that lift and get up into the sun? Well, of course, my way of doing that is letting go. And letting go, and letting go, and letting go some more. And that takes courage, because reality is we don't want to let go. We want to hold on, and we want to keep the story, keep the concepts, keep the labels. And it's funny, because I've been letting go of stories, concepts, and labels for 20 years. So it's an automatic habit for me, but how people want to put a label onto me, ADHD. It makes me laugh. Well, you've got ADHD. Oh, have I? What have you got? We love to label. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that some labels are helpful, apparently. But I'm just like not living in that reality. So it's just like, yeah, I'm different from you. So what? We're all different. And that's what's brilliant, because then we can all see from different angles. And the more of us that collaborate, you imagine my 80 trillion, give or take, cells collaborating with this 80 trillion, this 80 trillion, this 80 trillion. And then you've got all these cells collaborating, literally making a power grid of energy, of solutions. It can't be any other way but a huge success. So when we have the Health Hub communities open and everybody can come together and go, right, well, how do we solve this problem? We will find the solutions. It's the law. And I think unless you have really studied quantum dynamics and manifestation, you might not understand that when we pull together and we all want a solution together. We're far more powerful than just me sitting in my own. On an energetic level, people truly wanting the best for each other. And that's what Joe Dispenza's done, probably better than anybody. Well, there'll be places in India where everybody gets together, drops the ego, drops into humility, and realizes that we are part of something much, much bigger than we realized. And then the fascias, the cells can communicate and talk to each other because we are one. We are all one. Whether you can see it or not is irrelevant. People want to shut down. I'm not the blame, shame, complain. And then when you lift and let go out of that state, you're like, oh, wow. And that's why I think a lot of the plant medicines are great, because you get booted into that state, whether you like it or not. Your ego just gets moved out the way. So let's do a little bit of letting go before I finish. I hope that I've really inspired you a little bit to how incredible the body is. And when you start to expand out, come away out of here and come away into here with your awareness, and you allow the fascia, you can do it with your eyes open and just feel it. And allow it to unfurl itself. Because we literally tie ourselves in knots emotionally, trying to figure things out, wishing things were different, taking things personally, and waiting for things to change. All of that means that we're out of this present moment. And if you've been doing this, living this life in these states for decades and decades and decades, and imagine learning this when you're a kid, where you understand, that's not real. Oh, my thinking's unhelpful. Oh, that point of view doesn't feel right to me. I don't care how educated you are, it doesn't feel right to me. I was watching with my aunt The Chase. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a quiz show, and this guy, they tell you, should you go for this or should you go for this? And this young guy just went, I'm just going to go for that. Everybody was telling him not to, but he was just like, I'm going for the big prize, and he got it. And I was like, that's it right there. What is it within some people that they hear all the advice, but they tune into their intuition and they do something different? And all the tribe thinks you're nuts, but then you come back with 40 grand and they're like, oh, actually, good on you. And when we take this to healing, and, you know, if you read Kelly Turner's Radical Remissions, you'll know that's what people did. They listened to their intuition and they walked a different road from the tribe. And that takes balls and overeats and courage and abundance. And when you let go, you can tap into that courage. So let's just do a wee quick Sunday morning letting go. So whatever's bothering you in this moment, it might be another human, it might be a financial situation, it might be a grief or a loss, anything. It might be your own health, your own diagnosis. Just feel what is there in this moment. And just become aware of all the sights, sounds, and sensations that are in your body. And just for now, as best you can, observe, listen, and allow. And welcome, embrace the energy, and just let it go. Set it free. And welcome all wanting control, feeling out of control, security, feeling insecure, approval, taking things personally, feeling separate, lonely, wanting to be separate, wanting to be at one. Welcome all of that and just let it go. And just take some nice, easy breaths into the belly and then just let it all go. Remember, if you want to calm down, breathe out longer than you're breathing in. And how does it feel now? And just think about your situation again. Feel it. Welcome it. Heal it. And let it go. Feel the fascia go into a state of ecstasy at being giving this permission to unravel, unwind, and return to homeostasis. Allow all your aches and pains and resistance to be released now. And take your attention into your heart. And just think about this body that you reside in. And as you start to have a newfound respect for the innate intelligence that runs through you and all around you, allow the heart to open. Allow the fascia to let go. Of this thing. Just feel that love in your heart. Send it to every cell in your body. And send it out to everybody in suffering. And just tune in, remember the incredible power within. When we let go of all the stories, concepts, labels, we remember why we're here. To create the new story. And just one more release. Welcome anything that no longer serves us. Limiting beliefs, outdated cellular memories. Welcome it all and just let it go. And have a wonderful Sunday. I'll chat to you all soon. Ciao.